On July 9th, 1572, a group of 19 judged Catholics were executed just for their faith. It was the unfortunate culmination of years of influence and suppression that just reached a boiling point. Dutch Calvinists were fighting against Spanish rule, and these 19 men found themselves trapped with no way out. Howdy all, and welcome back to another episode of the Sanctified Podcast, the show where we explore the stories of various saints throughout history, learn about what they did, and how we came to recognize them as saints today. Today, we're going to explore the events surrounding the Martyrs of Gorkum and the lives of the individuals who were victim to unrelenting hatred. During the former half of the 16th century, Lutheranism and Calvinism were on the rise in Western Europe. This sat particularly unwell with the ruler of Spain. So, Emperor Charles V and his son King Philip II started a campaign to suppress these growing movements. But, as anyone could probably guess, the people being suppressed didn't really like that, so they started to turn against not only the rulers, but also the Catholics that they would interact with on a normal basis, because they just decided that since the emperors and kings weren't really accessible targets, they would target those who held the same faith as them. Easy targets, who didn't do anything wrong themselves except having a different perspective on life. By 1572, the Netherlands was in war against Spanish rule, but there was also fighting with the Lutherans and Calvinists. So the two movements against Catholicism, even though they kind of stemmed off from it, clashed with one another. Each wanted to be the primary new faith, but the Calvins eventually won out. On April 1st, 1572, Calvinist forces, alongside rebel group Watergeuzen, which translates to the Sea Beggars, took over Brielle and Vlissingen. The Watergeuzen had been raiding Spanish ships for a few centuries at that point, hence their name, relating to the sea, and they were known to target anyone who showed any sign of agreeing with the Spanish rulers. Then, in June, towns Dordrecht and Gorkum were targeted, and 9 Franciscan priests were captured at Gorkum. There were a few others arrested as they were discovered, and the total prisoner count reached 15 by the end of June. The group was transferred to Brielle on July 8th, 1572, and along the way, their Calvinist captors exhibited them as a sort of sideshow for money. On July 9th, William de la Marck, commander of the Guet de Mer and Lord of Lumey, had the prisoners interrogated. On that same day, 4 more prisoners were delivered. The total was now 19, and all of them were then ordered to abandon their faith, refute the things that they held so dear, and adopt a new faith. You can kind of guess where that went. The Prince of Orange, William the Silent, actually sent a letter asking that the priests, clergymen, and religious targets be left unharmed. But that letter fell upon eyes blinded by fury. On July 9th, the 19 men were executed, but not until they had already been brutally tortured. It was reported that after their execution, a shrub with exactly 19 white flowers sprung up at the site they were martyred, and since then, numerous miracles have been confirmed by pilgrims going to the site. Interestingly, one of the most common healings has to do with having hernias cured. The 19 men included Adrian van Hilveranbeek, born and raised in Hilveranbeek, and he had joined the Premonstrantensians and then became a priest. It also included Andrew Wouters, a priest serving in Heinenoord, which was in Hoogse Waard, Anthony of Hoornaar, who was a Franciscan priest, Anthony of Weert, a Franciscan friar and priest at the convent of Gorkum, Cornelius of Wijsbedursted, a lay brother in Munstraat in Dursted. He would frequently run errands for the monks at the monastery. He was a very humble and obedient person, carrying out requests from the fellow monks without hesitation. Francis of Roy was also among them. He was a Franciscan friar and priest. Gottfried of Mervel, Franciscan friar and priest at Gorkum, who was also popular among the people for his paintings and prints of saints that he shared with everybody. There's also Gottfried van Duynen, a priest and rector, James Lacobs, a priest who actually opposed Catholicism in his youth and supported Protestantism, but he came to turn a new page in his life's book. He was appointed to his position in 1572, right before the Sea Beggars attacked. There's also Jan of Oosterwijk. He was from Oosterwijk in Brant. He entered the order at the Rugen near Brielle, and he was rector of the convent of Augustinian canonesses in Gorkum. Jerome of Weert, Franciscan priest, he worked in Gorkum and was very well known for his missionary work. John of Cologne, a priest in the Dominican order and parish priest in Hoornaar. Leonard van Vegel, a priest who studied at the University of Leuven, then became a parish priest in Gorkum. He was very widely respected and known for his generosity to the poor and sick. There was also Nicasius of Hise, who's a priest of Hise in the Netherlands. Nicholas Pieck, a Franciscan friar and priest at Gorkum. He actively preached against Calvinism, so he's a very, very prime target for the sea beggars. They singled him out specifically. There was also Nicholas Poppel, a Franciscan serving as curate to Leonard von Vegel in Gorkum. Peter of Asch, a Franciscan lay brother at Gorkum. He tended to the sick daily and cared for them any way that he could. Theodorus van der Eem, a Franciscan friar and priest who served as chaplain to the Franciscan tertiary sisters in Gorkum. And Willehad of Denmark. Exiled from his homeland, he went to the Netherlands to seek a new home. He joined the Franciscan friar in Gorkum and served with them until 1572. And apologies if I mispronounce any of these names or places. They're a little tricky for me to pronounce. And I don't want to delve into the weeds surrounding these entire series of events for the uprising and everything, because I don't want to put faith against faith. It's just supposed to be the story of the martyrs, why they were targeted, who they were, and just kind of keep everything pretty simple. So yeah, it is a shorter episode because of that. But if you're interested in learning more, there are plenty of resources that go into all the nitty-gritty of the events. The 19 men that were martyred were beatified November 14th, 1675, and they canonized June 29th, 1867, which so happened to coincide with 1800 years since the martyrdom of Saints Peter and Paul. So the canonization ceremony was pretty spectacular. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll do my best to answer them. And if you do want me to go into the nitty-gritty, let me know, and I'll try to make a episode that delves way into it. Might be a long episode, but it will get into the full story of everything. So what are your thoughts on the martyrs of Gorkum? Isn't it kind of insane to think that this type of persecution is still going on today around the world? I hope you found their story interesting, and I look forward to learning your thoughts on the martyrs of Gorkum. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to support the channel, you can subscribe, download the episode, like, comment, share with your friends, or send me a suggestion on a saint to check out by emailing me at sanctifiedpodcast@proton.me. You can find the show on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Podbean, and more. I try to upload it once a week, every Thursday. Take care, and have a wonderful day.